Hello there, folks. This is Ethan the Farmer. Most of y'all know me. Most of y'all know I don't have much to do with drugs or alcohol, but it's kind of funny. The Mountain Grove Police Department seems to think that because I have a friend that has an autistic child that acts out and has an episode, that somehow or another that makes me guilty of doing drugs. So I had to take a drug test. I passed it. They got mad. They searched my van. I passed it. They took paperwork out of my van without my consent and without a warrant. But yet, nobody seems to really care. It's one of these things. We live in a country where tyranny is running amok, especially from people like social services and the police department. Now, our Constitution grants us the right, and this is the U.S. Constitution. This has nothing to do with Missouri state law, which we'll get into in a minute. But our Constitution grants us the right to be secure in our persons. And I don't think I'm very secure in my persons. When I got a friend and her daughter that came up here to help me, and they're camping. They got tents. We got them in tents. We got food. We got a shower tent. We got a bathroom tent. Many thanks, by the way, to Miss Manuel down there in Louisiana for purchasing us the party shower tent. That thing works wonderful. But anyway, I just wanted to make sure she knew that we put it to good use, even though the police claim that it's unsanitary. I don't know how. Granted, I guess if you go camping in the state of Missouri now, and you have a minor child, according to this document that I have here in my hand, I don't know if I should have done that. Anyway, according to this document here in my hand, right like so, I don't know if you can see it, it says that the minor child has been living in the mother's boyfriend's van. Now, let me set a few things straight. First of all, ain't nobody living in the van. Second of all, we use the van to go to Walmart to get material, get supplies, and use the internet because in the woods, in the forest, the internet kind of is what the internet is, garbage. That's just how it is. So, and in a tent on the ground. Now, anybody that knows me knows that anybody that's ever slept in one of my tents, I offer them a memory foam mattress. I have, I think, 3 or 4 of them. The child is in the largest tent that we own, which is I think it's an 8-person tent or something silly. Huge tent. The mother's sleeping in, I think it's a 4-person pup tent. And then I got my rig, of course, everybody knows. My bunk is only 22 inches wide by 6'3" long. I've done videos of me laying in the lovely thing. And we have a situation where these clowns, they didn't come out and look at it. They flipped out because an autistic kid had an episode and nobody was allowed to de-escalate the situation. Instead, they chose to escalate the situation and make this huge hoopla. And they haven't done anything about it other than lie. This document here is nothing but short, straight lies. So then and also let me point out, these people did not get to Missouri until Saturday evening. Okay? So, if you come to the state of Missouri and you camp Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, this happened Wednesday at 3 p.m. So you're talking 4 days of camping. You are at risk of having your child snatched by social services and being told that you're not a good parent because, why? Because you're camping. Now, I got a kitchen set up. I got bathroom. I even got a stinking toilet seat on our bathroom. This is ridiculous. I don't understand it. So much for freedom of persons and right to persons and property and, liberty and the pursuit of happiness and whatever else you want to have. God forbid your kid have an episode and the cops decide they're going to start acting crazy because it's bizarre. So then let's go down this stupid list of their adventure. They don't even know exactly where the camp is, even though I gave them GPS coordinates. They were mad because I did not have an address. What's really odd to me is that if you've ever camped in the forest, they don't typically put addresses on telephone poles, or if there are telephone poles, or for that matter, trees. I guess the squirrels and the deer and the possums and the raccoons and the coyotes, they don't get mail. But if you ask the Missouri Social Services, it's your fault because you're camping in a place that doesn't have an address. Somebody lost their pea-picking mind and are totally illogical. I think this caseworker's level of logic went flying out the window at about 100 miles an hour. I hope it doesn't catch road rash when it hits the freeway. But anyway, let's move on through our little talking about this fiasco, because I've really had my fill of it. I've been called a drug addict. I've been told that because I caught staph in Louisiana, I'm dangerous. I don't know how helping other people and catching a bacteria from swamp water makes a person dangerous, especially since I'm on antibiotics and I even had the paperwork from the doctor saying that it wasn't contagious because I've been on the antibiotics long enough. Oh, wait. The cops and the social workers, they're doctors. I'm sure of it. They must have a medical license somewhere to be making these determinations. You would think, wouldn't you? Maybe it's the unauthorized practice of medicine. That would be a shame if they're guilty of such a crime, amongst many others. So let's move on through our little list here. So they say there's no adequate water. Now, anybody that knows me knows that my kitchen trailer holds a IBC tote, which, if anybody knows what an IBC tote is, it holds 375 gallons of water. Now, that's just one of my water devices. My rig holds 480 gallons of water, and my blue barrels that I typically import drinking water with because they're easier to move are 15 gallons each, and I have about 6 of them. So, in fact, when the police decided to pull all this rigmarole, even when they searched my van and took documents without my permission, which is illegal, in the United States of America, you cannot remove something from my vehicle without my consent, or a court order, a warrant, which these clowns didn't have. There were 3 water barrels, 15-gallon water barrels, in the back full of clean drinking water that had been purchased from the Public Works Department of the town of Mountain Grove. The same town where the police department said that we don't have adequate water. I'm beginning to think these people are clueless and ain't got a brain between their ears. Either that, or the fact that they opened the back door and saw the barrels, asked me what was in them, I told them what was in them, and they proceeded to tell me, why would you put water in barrels? And then they proceeded to write on a report that there's not adequate water. Really makes them look kind of stupid. Catch the next sentence. No adequate water or shelter. Now, mind you, in the previous sentence, it says that the child has been living, which is not living, it's camping, but whatever. I mean, they came up to help me for a little bit, for a week or whatever, okay? So anyway, you're looking at the situation where it says living in a van or a tent. Now, camping in a tent, as far as I know, is still legal shelter in the United States. I'm almost positive it is. Because if not, every child that goes camping in the state of Missouri needs to be taken into protective custody because, God forbid, they don't have appropriate shelter. This is a major problem, folks. I don't know if Missouri has enough housing for all these children. What are they going to do? This is a crisis. This is out of hand. What are we going to do? Or is it the simple fact that the social worker and the cops have got their heads shoved so far up their backside they can't find oxygen? I think it's more likely the second. So, we're going to go down to the next line here. Because, I told you I'd go through this step by step so that we all had a clear understanding as to what in the tarnation has happened here. A child went into Walmart to use the bathroom. Okay, a 16-year-old child. Now, mind you, the child got the brain of about a 7 or 8-year-old most days. She ain't altogether got her marbles screwed in straight. She flips out, she yells, she screams, she acts like a typical child with autism. Oh, crap. Did I say that? Anyway, so they refer to it as a minor child, okay? Currently has an open DHS case in Alabama. Now, they're using the fact that the child has a case open in Alabama. Now, if you know anything about children with disabilities, okay, and if you're a parent with a child that has major issues, such as autism, ODD, which is what is it? Oppositional defiance disorder. oppositional defiance disorder, or DID, which is another one that this child's got.
Dissociative identity disorder.
Dissociative identity disorder. In other words, she's got multiple friends in her head, which I don't mean to be mean, but that's the case of the situation. I mean, I've seen it with my own two eyes. I'm not blind. And the mother has access to resources like counseling, medication, doctors, to deal with this stuff by having a active situation or case in Alabama. Now, I personally saw the paperwork that says the mother has 100% legal and physical custody of the minor child, signed by a judge. I don't get it. Now, I know for a fact that this buffoon social worker and buffoon cops, which I'm going to give you their badge numbers and all that good stuff for the charming wonders that can't figure out how to act like normal human beings here shortly, as soon as I find the paper. I'm sorry, sometimes I can't find stuff because I get a little wound up, and yeah, well, you that know me know I'm wound a little bit tight. So, anyway, we're going to talk about that here in a second, but I got an issue with this. First of all, you got a minor child that goes into Walmart, asks to use the bathroom. 16-year-old kids use the bathroom half a dozen times or so since I've been around. We're in town to get supplies, get water. Oh my God, we went to town to get water, and they're saying we don't have water? I don't understand. How can this be? How is this possible? Or did the officer and the social worker lose their mind? Next question is, did they have a mind to lose? I don't know. So, we went to the Walmart, did all this adventure. Kid went in the bathroom. 10 minutes later, the kid ain't come out of the bathroom. Now, where I come from, it don't take that long to go in there and do your business. So, the mother, doing what mothers do, went to investigate where said child disappeared to. Because, well, how do I want to put this? Shouldn't take more than 10 minutes to go use the outhouse. It wasn't an outhouse, it was actually the restroom in Walmart. Just to clarify for the bureaucrats that think that we have unsanitary bathrooms, which is totally ridiculous. I don't know how many of them have ever gone camping and dug themselves a latrine, but the military uses them all the time. We're not even using a latrine. We have actually a toilet seat on a camping toilet that you use. Can't put paper in it, though, because it messes the stupid thing up. But that's beside the point. We got a trash bag for the paper. And there's paper, too, just so they know we're not making the child use the bathroom without having access to TP. Although I would think that corncob would be sufficient. Where I come from, corncob, as long as it isn't the three-leaved plant, that's good to go. A little bit of three-leaf plant, child would have a bad afternoon. But no, we weren't doing that to the child. So, here we go. Kid went in to use the bathroom. Mom went to go find the kid. Can't find the kid. Mom starts freaking out. Mom calls me. I've been outside. I've been sitting in the van because I already did what I needed to do. I was just waiting for everybody on my phone using the internet because, internet out here is about a high-dollar commodity. It just flat doesn't exist. So the mom can't find the kid. I go in there. First thing I do is go up to the service desk and tell them to call Code Adam. Because Walmart has this big fancy blue thing that says Code Adam with a star under it, right next to the thing, the sign that says National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Okay? I don't know if you guys ever heard of John Walsh, whose son got kidnapped from a Walmart or something. I don't quite know the whole story. I don't remember it when the kid was little. But anyhow, there's this big old thing. He started the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They're in bed with Walmart to try to claim that if a child comes up missing, they help find them. They got a whole policy in place that you're supposed to follow. Well, guess what? Walmart refused to call a Code Adam. Now, the name Adam is used because that was John Walsh's son's name that turned up missing. Adam Walsh. So, anyway, they refused to call a Code Adam. So we commenced the search in the store. The mom takes off searching one direction, I take off searching another. We're looking everywhere, taking a picture, showing it to people, saying, where in the tarnation is this kid? I mean, she went in the front door. She couldn't have come out the front doors because I had seen her. I'm not a blind individual. Everybody that knows me knows that I watch just about everything. I'm not going to let grass grow underneath my feet. It's just not my way of doing things. I'm pretty thorough and I'm damn tenacious. And we can't find the kid. So I go back up again to the front desk and tell them call Code Adam. I tell them call a manager. They won't do either. This goes on for 45 minutes. Meantime, I'm up the blasted front desk about the 6th time, and I told the lady, you best call Code Adam. Her response to me was, F you. Now, she didn't use the words and effing you. She used the formal words that go with the rest of that. And if you don't know what that is, I'm sorry I have to can't say it on here because YouTube will flag my video. Because God forbid I use, foul language. Even though we live in a world that's pretty stinking foul. Not only does it smell bad, but the mentality of the people is bad. These people don't have a lick of common sense, a lick of logic, and frankly, I don't know how they get out of bed in the morning. Can they tie their shoes? How in the world does a social worker tie her shoes? How is this possible? So, anyway, can't find the kid. After 45 minutes of raising hell trying to find the kid, even the door greeter couldn't understand why they wouldn't call it Code Adam. Manager finally shows up, says, oh yeah, we've had the kid back in the back room. They had a little episode. We called the police. The police are with the kid. At least she's safe. But then the cops come and they start saying, well, the kid's saying this and the kid's saying that. Now, mind you, this kid's got autism. And I personally have heard the fishtails. And I don't know if you've ever dealt with teenagers that like to get attention and cause ruckuses. But this kid, she was telling somebody the other day that she's going to make a living when she's an adult by selling her pictures on OnlyFans. And she was telling to a governmental bureaucrat. All right? So this kid ain't altogether thinking straight. And this kid's saying that I'm on drugs, her mom's on drugs. It's this whole big old fiasco. She's saying her mom's sleeping with 50 million people. Well, as far as I can tell, and I don't know for certain because I ain't sleeping with the lady, but I haven't seen no 50 million people at the camp. I don't know how this is possible. In fact, I think it's rather not possible. In a round-robin sense, I don't see how this is happening. But anyway, she's accusing us of all this crap. So the dumb cops decide that they want us to go trucking over to the police department. So we follow this lovely, ignorant, pompous officer over to the cop shop. He wants my license plate number. He tries to run my ID. Now, okay, I have a Pennsylvania-issued state driver's license. It says right on it, driver's license. Complicated word to some officers. Anyway, it says also right underneath driver's license, not for real ID purposes. Now, if anybody knows about the American driver's license system, they're trying to do a national database called the Real ID system so that you can access federal courthouses and federal buildings and use it to fly and all this kind of crap. Well, first of all, I can't fly anyway, so that don't really make any difference to me. And if I need to go in a federal courthouse and they give me crap about my license, we're going to have issues anyhow. So, whatever. Have a good day. I ain't getting a real ID, and I damn well ain't letting them scan my retina or any other craziness to get it. So, I don't have a real ID, and I don't want one. But this cop proceeds to tell me that he can't run my license because it's not a license. But it says, Pennsylvania, drivers. Oh my God, it's the word license. Maybe the cop can't read. Maybe that's the whole problem that made this mess. I don't know. But this is a problem. So, we're already 18 minutes into this conversation. But I'm going to try to speed it up a little bit so you can get the gist of this. This blasted cop takes us over to the police department, makes us take drug tests, comes out, says we passed them. You don't want me to tell you about the ignorant fool and his way of taking drug tests. Pulls cups out of, they're not even sealed or nothing, and basically wants to stand on top of you when you try to pee. I mean, I ain't never had somebody stand quite so close when I was trying to piss. But, I don't know, the guy's got an issue. Frankly, he might be a pervert. But the situation at hand is, we got a problem. We passed the drug test, still not good enough. They searched the van. Can't find anything wrong. Other than the fact they said the van is dirty inside. It's dusty. Okay, I don't know if you've ever driven on the Missouri back dirt roads, but they're made out of this stuff called gravel. And when you drive down the road with your windows open because it's blasted 95 degrees, Guess what comes in the windows? It's called dust. Oh my God. So, anyway, these cops are dumber than 5 boxes of rocks. After hours and hours and hours of playing their stupid game, they say, we're not going to release the child. And they issue that stupid yellow piece of paper with that ignorant nonsense about sleeping in a tent or sleeping in a van or whatever. And no water and all this crap. Even though the water jugs damn near fell out on them. Because they ain't got no brains. So, just so you know, the phone number for the Mountain Grove Police Department is 417-926-5181. The professional clowns, as they are, or officers, I'm sorry, their badge numbers are 1218 and 1219. Oh my God, they must be buddies. I think the one clown officer's name is Pamela J. Britt, and I think she's 1218. And that's Pamela, middle initial J, last name Britt. And this is the Mountain Grove Police Department in Mountain Grove, Missouri. So, we got this crazy situation. Oh, by the way, the chief's name of this, I guess it must be a circus. It can't be a police department. His name is Danny Bledsoe. Bledsoe. And just so you know, there's the paper. The cops refused to give me their names or a card. This is what they scribbled for me when I asked them for their identifying information. Because, yeah, God forbid that a citizen actually know who in the world is acting like a bunch of fools. And this is what we got. So, I'm going to end this video. I'm going to do a second video on the craziness, shall we say, and all the rules they broke of their own, because, you know, these dummies, they wouldn't give us a copy of the police report paper on Wednesday, but they gave it to us today. And on that paper, well, we'll just say they can't even follow their own rules. I guess they can't read. But anyway, we're going to talk about that in a second video. I'll hit you up here in just a second with a second video. I hope you guys have a better night than we're having. And by God, don't bring your kids camping in the state of Missouri unless you want a whole lot of brain damage, because God forbid if you sleep in a tent.